The Corkin Entertainment Show is brought to you by Podmatch, the ultimate platform designed to connect podcast hosts with prospective guests effortlessly. Are you a podcaster looking to elevate your show to new heights? Or perhaps you're a guest hoping to share your story with a broader audience. Whatever your podcasting goals are, we have the perfect solution for you. Podmatch simplifies the entire process of discovering guests for your show or finding podcasts to feature your expertise. Now imagine a platform where you can easily match with like-minded creators tailored specifically to your niche. With Podmatch, you can effortlessly network with influencers and thought leaders, all while staying true to your podcast vision. There are a multitude of ways that Podmatch can help you grow your brand. You can be part of a thriving community of podcasters and potential guests. Engage, collaborate, and grow together. If you're ready to experience these fantastic benefits for yourself, we invite you to join Podmatch today. Head over to www.joinpodmatch.com/Corkin Entertainment and sign up right now for only $6 a month. That's right, you heard me right, $6 a month. Join the Podmatch family today and watch your podcast soar to new altitudes. Thank you for tuning into the Corkin Entertainment Show, and happy podcasting. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corkin Entertainment Show. I am your host, Franky Corcoran. Happy Tuesday, happy all that good stuff. Before we start, I'm sure you guys are going to see on our social media, we've announced our next production, our next fall production. Very, very excited. Fractured Festivities, it's called. It's one I put together this year, and I'm super excited. It is going to be on November 14th and 15th at Dr. Loge, the Dr. Loge Theater. Very excited to do this one, and so more details are going to come in the days and weeks and months ahead. Because we're still fairly far out now, but we are now in rehearsals, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm very, very excited to get this presented to all of you guys, and just wanted to do a little thing, just talk about that very, very quickly. Hope everyone's having a good summer so far. We're almost at the end of the summer. We're pretty well right at the tail end of it. Hope everyone had a good one this year, and are looking forward to the fall and all that stuff. And so we got lots of good stuff coming for the podcast this year. Got a lot of great people booked, and it's really, really amazing. It's really amazing that we're able to. At one time, it was almost difficult to get people. Now it's fantastic to see just how many people we've been able to get on. Huge thanks to Podmatch for a lot of these. I definitely, guys, recommend Podmatch. The ad for it is at the top of this episode. Use our link in the episode description to sign up. Even if you're not a podcaster, even if you're an artist or anything, you can create a podcast profile, and you can make a guest profile. So a host profile and a guest profile. If you're someone, maybe a singer-songwriter who's looking to promote your stuff, Podmatch is an excellent platform for it. And it's something that you're able to make money off it as well, too. Make podcasting a real job for you. So definitely be sure to check that out. And we got a great one for you today. Jaze Bordeaux. Jaze is not just a filmmaker, he's a storyteller who turns bold ideas into award-winning cinema. He has a deep first-hand insight into the intersection of creativity and business, which is something that most creators struggle to balance. So his debut feature film, EFC, really put him on the map, and sweeping over 30 international awards: best feature film, best director, best original story, and great conversation. Thank you, Jaze, for coming on. Talk about a lot of different things, and great conversation. So later in the show, I'm going to talk about the future of late night television and Shrek 5 being delayed to 2027. Is it good? Is it bad? Why did this happen? We'll talk about that. So anyways, guys, without further ado, just if you like the episode, leave us a nice review. Keeps the podcast going. And just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show today. All right, hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I am your host, Franky Corcoran, and today I am joined by filmmaker, storyteller, who has transformed what are known as audacious, crazy concepts into celebrated cinema. Martin Scorsese will be very proud. Very excited to have him on here today. Jaze Bordeaux. Jaze, how are you today, man?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me on, Frankie. I was looking forward to this, talking to another fellow Canadian, right?
Yes, Canadian. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm getting lots of Canadians on now. So where are you from?
I'm right here. I'm based in Toronto. So again, hop, skip, and a jump away, right? And beautiful Toronto, I'll say, ever-growing Toronto. Skyline keeps changing, so if you've been here before, it probably looks different now. But that's Toronto, right?
No, exactly. I got to do more traveling too. That's something that's on my bucket list is to do more traveling. Is that something do you travel a lot? Do you do a lot of like, going to the States and stuff like that? Well, I mean, like you're a filmmaker too, so you're probably all over the place.
Yes, we do travel a lot, but I'm going to tell you something that's so ironic and kind of funny, especially when I'm talking to Canadians that are based on the East Coast, because Canadians, I feel, do travel a lot. Like as a country and as a people, we do get out there a lot, but it's so fascinating to me how a lot of times I'll talk to people on the East Coast and they've never been to the West Coast. And I talk to people on the West Coast and they've never been to the East Coast. And it's just like baffling sometimes because it's like, it's the same country, and the landscape is so diverse and everywhere you go, it just offers something different. So sometimes I'm baffled by the fact that there's people of, you know, 50, 30 years, 60, whatever, lifelong Canadians have never been, let's say, the Canadian Rockies, right? Or Vancouver or vice versa. So sometimes I try to tell people, hey, we should probably travel in our own country more, right? And I know during COVID, it started to become a thing because it's all you could do. But I think Canada has a lot to offer, and as much as we've been to Europe and wherever, South America, the States, I still want to travel through Canada, and just I think there's so much more to see that I haven't seen yet, right? And it's in our backyard, you know?
Literally, it's like right there, and it's kind of funny that some people say, "What do you mean you haven't gone here, gone there?" It's like literally like an hour away. Like you can't take time to go on dance. See, it's like, yeah, that's funny. You're like, why don't I do that? You kind of
Yeah.
got to stop and smell the roses a lot, and I mean, especially working on so many different projects and everything too. Sometimes it gets hard. Do you have a good balance in trying to find time for regular everyday stuff where you are a filmmaker, you're doing all kinds of amazing things. What's that balance like?
So I would say that I probably don't have a balance, but it's been a lifelong challenge, right? Trying to discover what this balance situation is, because sometimes it seems you're completely off tilt, you're focused so much one way, and there's no time to really do other things. But then I started to look at balance a little bit differently. This is my personal, I think, lesson in life. I've realized that balance, I kind of measure it in seasons now. I'm like, okay, there's a time where it's going to be go, 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 and very focused on, for example, we're working on a film slate that's going to carry us over 10, 12 years, right? Of sci-fi thriller movies. Uh, and so it's really, really busy right now. But I also realize that there'll also be a time when it'll be the opposite, right? So I find balance, I look at it more in seasons. I try to look at the big picture. Okay, right now it's really busy, and then there'll be a time where we slow it down a bit, right? And more like a cycle as opposed to, okay, it's 10 o'clock a.m. today, and I'm working all day, and then, but no, I need to break for an hour and, maybe go do this or go do that. It's tough, especially when you're doing your own thing, right? So if you're not doing it or you're not showing up to do it, nobody else is doing it for you, right? And so I tend to look at it just a little bit different now, just from like a seasonal point of view. So at the end of life, I suppose when we're at the end and I'm looking back, I'd like to say that there was a time where it was really busy, there was a time where it was very relaxed, there was a time where it was whatever was going on, right? And just to take that pressure off, okay, well, I'm not seeing my friends and it's been a while, it's been a year, it's been whatever it's been, or hey, everybody's going on holiday, but we're stuck in the office right now because we're in pre-production for the next film in 2027, right? So I took that pressure off a long time ago by looking at things like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. It really is good to try, because I know it's hard sometimes for people. I mean, like, I know myself, it can get very, very difficult. I've started to get better at it, where you don't want to take on too much because you want to enjoy some of the things in life, we were talking about. Traveling is a big thing too, wanting to travel. But also, I mean, when you're working on multiple different projects, you don't want to dip your toes into too many, ponds, like, it's because it becomes overwhelming if you agree to do all these different things. How are you going to find time to do that? Like, is that something that you have found yourself stuck in, where maybe you have trouble saying yes, and you say yes to every project or every like contract that comes your way, and then you're like, why did I say yes to this? Like, how difficult is it to manage that?
So early, again, another lifelong lesson I had to learn. I call it helium balloons versus iron balloons, is kind of balancing those ideas or opportunities that come your way because they're going to come fast and furious all the time, every day, all day long. And sometimes you got to sit and wonder, does this have enough legs to go now? Or is it one of those things? It's a great opportunity, it's a great idea, but it's not for right now, and it's not for me, or it's not for our team, right? And so juggling that, it's usually ultimately what these decisions come down to. Helium balloon, iron balloon. Does this have the air or the gas to go? If not, maybe it's something we revisit 5 years from now, a few months from now, a year from now, whatever the case might be, right? And so, yeah, I had to actually learn how to, as you said, not necessarily say no, but just weigh it out. It's very, very easy to say yes to everything, especially when things come fast and furious, right? And I always say there's no bad idea, there's no lost opportunity. It's just a matter of timing sometimes, and you just have to weigh it out. Does it work? Does it have the gas to go, or does it not have the gas to go? And the other thing I'll ask is, do we have the team to actually run with this? All right. So it's become easier as I've gotten older, I suppose, with a little bit of wisdom, to pass or to say no. When I Even though it could be a great idea, it could be a great opportunity, it's just sometimes it's just not the time to do things, right?
And that's the thing too. Quality versus quantity. It's a big thing that I always talk about as well too. Yes, it's good to have lots of stuff on the go because that means you're busy, and that's never a bad thing. But also, are you doing too much to the point that the quality of some of your work is starting to deteriorate because your head's in 20 different places? Like, how it'd be like, you're running a studio, but you're also writing and directing a movie, and then you're also writing, or you're also maybe writing another movie, and then you're acting in another movie that's part of a different studio. So your head's in like 20 different places, and you're like, how do I um I got to make sure that the product that I'm delivering under my own name and everything is delivering. Because at the end of the day, yes, it's good to have a lot of projects on the go. It's good to be in a lot of things. But if you'll be known as Adam Sandler. I mean, we all love Adam Sandler, but let's be real here. Let's call for what it is. A lot of his movies are just very silly, and a lot of them are kind of bad. Not That's not a fault of him. I mean, he has done lots of great movies and stuff, but that's what a lot of people can kind of see him as. Oh, he's just a guy who just does those awful movies. Like, literally, I've heard people refer to him as that guy, which, I mean, Adam Sandler is a Legend.
Yeah.
Is that something that you some like what are some of the fears that you kind of go through your head when you're deciding what project to do? You're if I do this, is this gonna like change how people view my films now? Like what kind of what's your thought process going into these types of projects?
So it's an interesting question you ask, and yeah, for most people, obviously, who are outside the industry, this could be new, what I'm saying. When you look at a movie, a film, when I look at it, or when my team looks at it, we have to look at it like a startup company because each script or story idea, it's essentially like a startup. It is the film business, right? And yeah, and now you have to, if you start to look at it like that, it becomes no different than, let's say, if you want to build electric cars. Okay, you got to ask, okay, well, who's the market? Where are they? Are they even out there for it? Is there an interest for it? Do they want to watch it? How much are they willing to pay to see this thing? How much is it going to cost to produce it versus how much you can actually make from it? Is it even the right time, like to do this project? I'll give you a perfect example. I have a script that I think I wrote back in 2012. And it's been on the back burner for a long time because it revolves around the collapse of the monetary system and just sat on it for a long time because I knew it just was not the right time, was not the right time, was not the right time. It incorporates a lot of stuff in regards to artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, maybe potentially being a Trojan horse. And this was back from 2012. And I sat on it because I knew it wasn't really a concept that would be understood back then to a mass audience. So it's one of those, even if you did produce it, it might be out too soon. And we've been sitting on it, sitting on it, sitting on it. Technically, we have it in our upcoming slate. It's positioned right now to be the third film in our slate, which I'll talk about maybe a bit later. But by the time we actually produce this, I think probably, let's see, 2012 it was written. We're in 2025. So we're already, what, 13 years? It would have been almost 20 years by the time that film comes out. And that just sat on it because I knew it's just not the right time, not the right time, not the right time. There's other stuff, even EFC that came out last year. That's been kind of out there making the waves and all the headlines. When we decided to do it, it wasn't even initially the first project that we were planning to do, right? We produced it because the time was right. Women's MMA was a hot topic. And I remember asking myself this one question. By the time this movie comes out, will people still be talking about this topic? Women's mixed martial arts, that whole concept. The theme of the movie was about saving that sport and advancing it, going to a different level with it. And I said, by the time it comes out, because it hadn't been done at that point, will people care and will people be talking about it? And yeah, when it came out, obviously, by the time we released the film in 2024, Halle Berry had done one just before us, Bruised. And all of a sudden, right now, in 2025, there's this window where you're seeing all of these movies around women and in these untraditional roles like combat sports or boxing. There was a movie that came out called Queen of the Ring, and Sydney Sweden's doing a film about a very famous boxer. And there's so many of these types of films that are about to hit the market that I can look back and say, okay, yeah, we were right about the timing of it, right? And the overall cultural impact and where things were going. So going back to your question, you do have to kind of look at things from a business perspective, right? Is there a market for this? Do they want to see it right now? It may not be right now. It could be later. You got to kind of make those calls just as you would any other thing. product that you're developing to take to a commercial market, right? So if you look at it like that, then that's how we look at it literally. And I know people argue with me and they say, but it's creative, it's art, and the art should find its audience, right? And and I'll argue and I'll say there is a point to that, but when there's millions of dollars at stake, you can't really do that. It's got to be a well orchestrated, thought out plan. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least there was a plan around it, right, to make it work, you know?
Exactly. That's why you need a great team. Is I think that brings, like, there's so much teamwork involved in the filmmaking process, in art, and you need that because you you need the yes people, you need the no people. I talk about this all the time. You need people who will agree, you need people who disagree, you need people who agree but they're also cautious. Like, you gotta have both of those people. And there's, as you said, there's so many different things to talk about, and that's something that I feel like isn't talked about enough, which is this going to be relevant in 10 years? Is this going to be something that people are going to look back on? Is this something that people like want to see right now? It'd be like doing it'd be kind of similar to doing a movie that is about the pandemic, like the COVID-19 pandemic. It's like, okay, this is, let's say, for example, we're in 2020 right now. It's too, this is too, we're currently living in this right now. They're making movies about Holocaust, and they're making movies about World War and stuff like that, because that was like, like 70, 80 years ago. Doing the movies that are it's something that we have to be very, very careful about too. And that's something that is not really discussed too much, which is, we're not saying yes and we're not saying no. We're just saying not right now. So I guess
Yeah.
that's technically a no, but it's like right in between. It's like, we're not turning you away. We just don't want to do this right now because it's not, especially considering the subject matter or whatever the case may be. It's kind of like that whole situation of, it's too soon. It's too soon. Just don't do it yet. And that's, I love hearing about that. I love hearing about people who actually look at, I mean, like at the end of the day, you're a passionate filmmaker, you're a passionate storyteller, but you're also a businessman at the end of the day. Like, is that something that kind of, maybe not scared you away, but is it something that you were somewhat skeptical about pursuing this line of work because it is something that you're passionate about? If I pursue this professionally, how is that going to change that passion? Like, did you ever have those thoughts at all?
Actually, no, not at all.
Oh,
Simply because for me, it just made sense. There's a lot of people who want to pursue what they're doing, but they're not able to because the opportunities aren't there, the funding's not there, the financing isn't there. To me, I always understood it was going to be that's just how it was going to be. I consider myself fortunate to have the skills to be able to do the thing I really want to do, um, um, and just do it with me calling the shots, right? Um, to make it into, or to think about it from a business standpoint, I believe that's what separates those who are successful and those who aren't. And there's a lot of people that I've talked to, and you can look at an actor, for example, because I do talk to a lot of actors, and Toronto, like Canada, period, has some phenomenal talent, like phenomenal. Like, I mean,
yeah.
talent that could run circles around anybody in Hollywood. I know the UK is exceptional as well in terms of their training. A lot of the actors come from a theater background. But nevertheless, in Canada, we have a phenomenal talent pool. And a lot of the actors I talk to, they get one specifically, I want to say his name. He says, I'm really good at what I do, but I just don't understand the business part of show business, right? And I told him that's what's separating you from getting the paychecks that like a Brad Pitt's getting, right? If you could put the business structure around it, just even an actor, every component, you're in business for yourself, right? Um, it could take you so much further than just sitting there waiting for an agent to book roles, right? And so you have to almost look at it like that. So if you want to do anything, if you want to pursue your passion, it's just part of the um, it's just part of the pursuit, right? You have to incorporate and you have to learn a lot of these skills. The times have changed now. I think there was a time 30 years ago, 40 years ago, where maybe you could just be good at one thing and get plugged into a system or a machine, and that would work. But in 2025 or the new era that we're in, you have to be more, I believe. You have to be able to take things from start to finish. It doesn't matter if you're a producer and you're taking an idea from concept to distribution to market and then after, or you could be an actor who said, I want to be a lead person. Okay, well, all right, now whatever your name is, Inc., that's your company, right? And now you're the president of your company. And what are you going to do to take your product, which is your skill set, into the mainstream market? The equation never changes, right? And it's just part of the process. So when you discount it, I believe you just discount a lot of opportunities, right? So for me, I always understood it was going to be like that. You're going to bet on yourself. There's not going to be a cavalry coming in from, like in the movies, ironically, to save the day. You're gonna have to take it from start to finish and then beyond that, right? Because you're gonna bet essentially when if you look at it like that, you're betting on yourself. And when you do that, you can't expect somebody else to come in and just, you know, here you go, hand it to you on a platter. I knew this was going to be a long haul. You're going to be in the trenches and you're taking it all like the way, right? And and at some point, things click. It's just the timing thing at the end of the day, right?
This episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show is brought to you by Holy Hydrogen. Okay, guys, let's be real. We all try our best to stay hydrated, right? But not all water is created equal. That's where Holy Hydrogen comes in. They've got this awesome device called the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition, and it takes clean water to the next level by infusing it with molecular energy. That means you're not just drinking water, you're giving your body extra support with every sip, better energy, less inflammation, and a real boost to your immune system. So try the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition today by going to shop.holyhydrogen.com/Corcoran and use the promo code Corcoran for $100 off your purchase. Again, that's shop.holyhydrogen.com/Corcoran and use the promo code Corcoran at checkout. Stay hydrated and stay healthy. Yep, exactly. It's such a good mindset to have. That's a really really good mindset to have, and it's really nice. Amazing to see what you've accomplished as well too. By the way, you guys can't see this. Is that a fake Oscar behind you? Is that what I'm seeing right?
There's a couple of award trophies there. The big one you see there was the last December. We were at the Palladino de Oro International Sports Film Festival out in Sicily, and I was awarded the Best Director Award for EFC, the movie we released last year. And I think the other one next to it, I believe, was Best Feature Film as well for EFC out of the New York International Film Awards. That was 2 out of 30, I think we had received for the film last year.
Oh
And
wow.
so that's what you're seeing back
That's
there.
fantastic. I thought it was an Oscar. It looks like an Oscar from here. I mean, like maybe that was intentional. Like they wanted it to look like a actual Oscar. Because I was like, holy shit! I said fake Oscar because I said he must have just one of those ones that people get off Amazon or whatever that are shaped like it. But that's really
Yeah,
fantastic. That's cool. And
yeah.
EFC kind of really is that kind of what you say? You really made your mark with that film? Is that kind of the one
Uh,
that made you realize like this is what I want to do?
it's not the one I would say EFC was the one that probably put us on the map. It wasn't the one that I said this is what we're doing per se. It is a film that kind of summarizes everything that we've been talking about, essentially in the sense that again, we were looking at things from a business perspective, and there was a long plan, and our long plan was always to produce a slate of sci-fi thrillers, which is what we're working on right now. So the next film I'm doing, called Genesis, is actually the movie I've always wanted to do. If I never did anything after that film, I would still be I would feel probably accomplished because I actually did the movie that I always wanted to do. And I think it's a film I'm going to, first of all, I call it the next generation's Matrix because it's a film around original thought theory, how artificial superintelligence is incorporated into that and how it affects how are having original thoughts or not having them anymore. Um, but there was a plan to get to that, right? And EFC was just like the first building block to it. And as I said, it wasn't going to be, we had another film that we were actually going to put out or go into production for. And at the last minute, again, going back to our conversation, I realized right now, the film that we were working on, I don't think the market will take it. We need to move in a different direction, and that's when we went into women's MMA. Thought it was a topic that'd be relevant even long after we were done with it. I think even 10 years from now, it's still going to be relevant, maybe more relevant than it is right now. So it's a film that is going to have lasting power. But if you want to ask I had two definitive moments. What made me say this is, I'm doing this, right? And two moments came as a producer and as a one as a producer, one as a director. So as a producer, when I first was exploring the industry, this is back in 2009, I believe. I was looking at the industry, trying to understand it to see where the opportunities were, and the opportunities I saw were in distribution because back then it was very obvious that the next 10 years was going to be all about streaming, even though most people had no clue what that was or what it was going to look like or what it was going to be. However, at the time when you had all the Googles and the Amazons and everybody investing big money into the building infrastructure in these platforms, there was no way to compete with them. But as a producer, I knew that the future would be content. By the time we got to 2020, 2021, I thought back then they would need content and they'll probably be outbidding each other or fighting each other for it, which they are right now. So that's exactly what it turned out to be. So content would always be king. The IP would always be king. It would trump, I think, anything, any platform, anything. So obviously that was a moment for me where it was boom. That's the direction I'm going in to produce a lot of these content to get ready for what back then I said was the future. As a director, my moment was, and I've said this story a lot. I went to go watch Interstellar. A dear friend took me to go watch it, and I saw the film and loved it, obviously. Gripping film, everything.
So
And
good.
she turned to me after and she goes, the reason I really, really, really wanted to see you do this film, is because I think that's the level you're at. And
Wow.
obviously my Genesis, which is coming up, is at that scale. It's at that budget level. It is at that level, and I'm hoping that we surpass everything that Interstellar or Inception did, with their run and their releases and their longevity, right? So I'm hoping to take that bar to the next place with Genesis, right?
Sounds to me like Christopher Nolan is a big influence to you. Is a big yeah, just two
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan films right off the bat. I was like, yep, I said I can see that.
Yeah, and if you look behind me here, and I know most people listening are just hearing audio, but if you look behind me here, yeah, you'll see
Inception poster right behind you.
yeah, you'll see them there. It's a level to aspire to, and then right in front of me is everything we're working on, right? Which you can't see right now, but
And then to his side, there's a statue of Christopher Nolan, just a big plaque in there. Like he just like it's almost like how the cross with Jesus on it. For you, it's like Christopher Nolan. I worship
Yeah.
you. You know.
Yeah. But you know what I really like about him is the fact that his work, it doesn't really age. So for example, they just re-released Interstellar last December, and I was so upset that I couldn't see it because we had to go to Italy, obviously for the film festival. And I think they're re-releasing I think they're re-releasing almost everything he's ever done in the UK this month in IMAX, from The
Oh
Dark
wow.
Knight to, so it's what I really appreciate about his work is that it doesn't really, it ages so well or it doesn't age. You know, and Inception also came out a couple years ago. They re-released it for its re-anniversary year. And I'm like, oh my God, every 10 years they're going to keep re-releasing these movies because they don't age, right? And they're still relevant. And I look at Tenant, a movie that people do just were so confused by. I had to watch it a few times, two, three times, just, and then I got it. And I'm like, okay, after the third time, I'm like, he's so ahead of his time on this film. It's going to take the 10th anniversary year where they re-release it, guaranteed they're going to re-release this. And then people will watch it and they'll say, "Oh, I get it now. Okay, got it." Right? It was just so um, uh, way ahead of I think way ahead of its time right now. So I appreciate that about his work in the sense that it's still relevant 10 years from now.
Yeah, that's the best part. It's almost similar to like how we show kids and this new generation all the old like Toy Story, and we're showing them Incredibles, we're showing them for like all these different movies that we've grown up with. Shrek is a big one too. And it's just because they're timeless. You want to show your kids, and then you want them to show your grand, and just everybody will not forget. Like that's why there's some movies out there like Home Alone that just won't go away
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we're showing them, even like my nieces and stuff like that, like Home Alone and everything. So and then in 10 years they'll be showing their kid, like it's just it's all a circle. It feels like yeah, that
yeah,
Lion King quote right
yeah,
there. It's a circle, Mufasa or
yeah,
Simba, whatever's
yeah,
whatever his name is. And it's good. I'm certainly not complaining. I definitely think it's a good thing to keep these films alive. And it's funny talking about Christopher Nolan. Uh, the hype for his new film, The Odyssey. Apparently, I don't know if this is true or not. AMC theaters just put their tickets out on sale a year. It's not even coming out till next year, and apparently they sold one of the nights out. Like
it is true. IMAX sold the tickets a year in advance for their special 70 millimeter screening at all the IMAX theaters. We have one in Ontario that was sold out as well. Unfortunately, I didn't get tickets, but I couldn't actually buy the tickets because I'm thinking, oh my God, like this is a year out. We're potentially going to be in Venice around that time. I'm not sure, right? But yeah, it's I don't know if that's ever been quite done before, but it speaks to the following that he has, right? I don't know too much purposely. I didn't want to read too much about the work. I know it's packed with stars, and I know people will work for free just to be on his set. If that's what it took. But I'm curious to see it. I purposely didn't want to read too much about it, but yeah, they did sell out. They sold out a year in advance for the IMAX screenings. I'm not sure about the regular AMC theaters, but I know the IMAX theaters have sold out for the opening. And my gosh, I don't know what A-list actor can even do that right now. Could
literally,
Brad Pitt do that? Could Margot Robbie do that? Could any of the big name act but do that? Have a
that's the
film coming
question
out? Yeah.
now. That's a really, really good question. I mean, especially a year. Like, I'm not going to buy my tickets now because I could buy them and then go, oh, something came up that day. Like, it's a year. I don't even know what. what I'm doing tonight. You know what I mean? After I do this
Yeah.
recording, what am I doing? What am I having for supper? Let alone what am I doing on July, whatever the date it's coming out, July 20th or whatever it is next year. Like, I have no clue. But like you said, it speaks volumes about the type of director he is and everything too. And at the rate that you're going, I'm sure that could happen to you. You know, your stuff will sell out, right? A year in
That
advance.
that would be quite the feat to do something like that, right? I just thought, what is that saying about where we're going in the future? Are we shifting more from um, an actor? Typically, people are drawn to the actors, but now you have a director. That people are just drawn to the director, and it doesn't matter what he's doing. It's just the fact that he's doing it. We're gonna go see it. And that's
Yeah,
typically
exactly.
what the A-list actors were, right? Because this person's in it, we're gonna go see it. But now it's all of a sudden because he's making it, we're gonna go see it. Even if we don't know what it's about yet, we're still gonna go see it, right? Because we know we have this expectation it's gonna be really good. You know, so a lot of people talk about, oh, what's going to happen with theaters, both sides, exhibition theaters for films and also just performing arts theaters. But I think that, and I really believe, if you just give people a reason to show up, they'll come, right?
Oh, 100%. 100%. People, yeah, just do the work, people will come. That's
Yeah.
what it all comes down to at the end of the day. And it's amazing to see all the work that you're doing too. Congratulations too on all of your success, just everything that you've done. What can you tell us about any upcoming projects or anything that you can? I know you have one coming out next winter. It's probably too soon to talk about it, but
Not too soon. We are releasing another film called Let Go, and that's a very interesting film because it was shot across. It's a Canadian production, but it was shot across Europe, across 12 different countries. It's set up in a style of a road trip, and essentially there, what you have happening is our protagonist Keon. He's trying to find it's a story about him having to let go and come to grips with the past and come back to the present. So essentially, he had a girlfriend years ago, and he's remembering the glory days of being in Europe with this woman, and then she had all of a sudden disappeared, right? He went on to live his life, but he just could not let this go. Like, what happened to her and what was it? So he goes back on this, almost abandoning everything he has at home. He goes back to try to retrace um, his steps with this woman from like years ago. It's a bit of a drug-fueled road trip, and ultimately he thinks he finds her and he's on this journey. But long story short, the story is about, literally, the title speaks for itself, letting go, learning to let go of the past and a lot of those things that are hindering us from moving forward, right? So that one I'm quite excited about. It's going to have its festival run probably at the beginning of the winter of 2026. I think by the time it comes out, it'll be 2027. So go back to what we were talking about before. Structuring art as a business, you do have to plan these things, right? You could just go out. I tell guys you can go out and shoot your film, but then what happens next, right? And then what are you gonna do next? And amazingly, I talked to so many filmmakers who never thought about next, how to get their product to market. But, just circling back to our conversation earlier, but that's coming out winter of 2026. And we also have another film that will be doing a festival run in the winter of 2026, which is called Starry Eyed. That was done in collaboration with one of the film schools here in Toronto, and that's all about self-discovery. We have a character just going through a dark place and having to find herself again and come out, right? And she just kind of, it's a poetic type of a film. where she has to rediscover herself. But that'll be out on the film festival circuit next year too. And obviously, after that, you'll be hearing a lot about our sci-fi thriller film slate, with Genesis being the first one up, and but that's still a little bit of a ways down the road, right?
Right. We'll cross that bridge once we
Yeah,
get to it.
yeah,
But amazing stuff, though, man. Amazing stuff. Thank you for taking the time to, your busy schedule to come on down. Well, not down here in person, unfortunately, but I mean, we are fellow Canadians.
yeah.
We can make something work. Do a in studio interview or something like that sometime. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But Jace, or Jaze. I said Jace.
Yeah,
I did that before we started, and then I was like, I don't know why I keep saying Jace. It's Jaze, like Jay
yeah,
Z.
Jaze, yeah.
Jaze, where could people find you on social media and websites or anything like that?
Real easy to find. You can just go to jazbordeaux.com. You'll have a link to basically all my social media platforms and everything else that's going on. So I'd say that'd be the easiest way. Just hit up the website. My name, jazbordeaux.com, right? And you'll find all the links, and everywhere else you can just plug in or follow, or even an email, right?
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, guys, definitely be sure to check that out. Jays, thank you so much for taking the time to come on today, and best of luck in everything you do, man. It's awesome what you're doing.
Yeah. Thanks, Frankie. Thanks for having me. Really
My pleasure,
appreciate
man.
it.
My pleasure. So, guys, we're going to take a short break. We will be right back. But until then, this is Frankie and Jays signing off. Cheers, man. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Corkin Entertainment Show. That was me and Jaze Bordeaux. Thank you very much, Jaze, for coming on. And, it's always a blast to chat with people who have such great insight into filmmaking, the creative process, and all that stuff. So thank you, Jaze, for coming on. I appreciate it, man. So moving on to the solo segments today, the first one I wanted to talk about is really just talking about the future of late night television, because it's up in the air, man. It is up in the air. Of course, this is still coming off the heels of Stephen Colbert and the Late Show getting canceled. Not just Late Show with Stephen Colbert getting canceled, but the Late Show period. They're not replacing Stephen Colbert. They're not doing anything like that. They're just ending the Late Show period. And of course, there was a lot of controversy that came around it. People saying, or like, they said it was for purely financial reasons, which doesn't necessarily make sense because of it's like the number one most highest rated show on the network. And so how does that make sense? So I kind of wanted to just talk a little bit about, I even read this article here from Seth Meyers, who I'm not a big Seth Meyers fan. I mean, like, I do like watching his interviews and stuff like that. He's not one of my favorite talk show hosts or anything. I've listened to him on a lot of interviews and podcasts and all that. But he did this interview back in July 28th, and I know it's kind of a few weeks ago now, but it kind of adds to the overall theme of what we're looking at here for the future of late night. Basically, Seth Meyers says the future of late night is out of control, worries about himself. Now, when I say late night, this is also his show is Late Night with Seth Meyers. But what he says kind of responds to it there, where it is such a time we're living in. On a recent episode of Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, Meyers said the future of his show, Late Night with Seth Meyers, is outside of my control, and that he worries the entire TV ecosystem might eventually not support evening talk shows altogether. And then, of course, coming off the heels of Late Show with Stephen Colbert being canceled. When asked by host Dax Shepard if he had any fear that his show could end tomorrow, Myers said, "I do. I mean, only because it is such a time we're living in as far as the entertainment industry. There is this weird thing that I feel like I shifted from fearing that I wouldn't be good enough, and now my fear is weirdly more outside my control, which is just at some point the ecosystem might not support late night. Not his show, but, late night television as a whole." Myers added that despite the urge to worry, he tries to focus on the job and trusts that his team has his back. "That's the only part they're paying you to do. It's the only part you're good at," Myers said. "All the other problems, we have people that are as good as are as good at that as you are at the thing you do, and don't mess around with that." So, so then later in the interview, he goes, later in the interview, Myers was asked by co-host Monica Padman about his financial stability if late night was canceled. He explained he was more worried about his mental well-being than his bank account. "I worry about myself, like mental health-wise," he said, "but I put a lot of thought into diversifying my skill set. Certainly financially, I could have been fine just doing the show for the last 11 years. But then it was like, oh, you know what? I feel like there's something to do to trying to build a stand-up career and trying to do other things," which I completely get that. I get that side of things where you're tied down to one project. I mean, that's one of the benefits that Conan O'Brien has now that he's left late night talk shows, and he's now able to do his own thing. He isn't doing podcasts. He's producing and starring in shows like Conan O'Brien Must Go, or what I think that's called, that HBO show. I haven't seen it, but now that he's not tied down to the late night talk show, I mean podcasting, of course he does still too, but for him, I'm sure that's actually easier to do than late night. Doing it in front of an audience every night, whereas podcasts, you can kind of record whenever you want, as long as it's out by, this date, pre-records them all and stuff like that. So basically, yeah, just reading that article, it kind of got me thinking, like, what really is the future of late night? Is late night television is it really financial, like that caused Stephen Colbert to be canceled, that caused Late Show to be canceled? And I think I do agree, and I even so a lot of this is coming from. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but there's a lot of different comments and stuff that I've seen, which is it was one I saw from Reddit here. Let me find it. Now I do apologize. I don't think I have the original who wrote this. Oh no, here it is right here. It was on a Reddit thread. This person probably never listens to it, but it's not my words, so I just want to make that clear. The entire model of the late night talk show is basically dead. The point of it was that big stars could come on, chat for 3 to 5 minutes, let the public get a sense of who they really are, show a clip from their current/upcoming project. That's all being replaced by the internet. Thanks to social media and clickbait articles, we can all get a sense of who these celebrities are off camera all day long. Trailers and clips are readily accessible on YouTube anytime you want. I'm not shocked to see the format actually being ended. I am shocked that the final straw for Late Show is actually an attempt at bending the knee to a dictator. I mean, obviously, the whole bending the knee to a dictator type thing, that kind of goes in line with, say what you want about Trump. I'm not talking about Trump or anything like that. I'm kind of talking about the late night model, where that right there is absolutely true. You go on YouTube, you can see full interviews. You can see, like, nobody really, it's kind of the same thing with, like, cable. I mean, like, there's very few shows now that people stay up to watch live, normally because it's all on streaming. That's what it is. I think it's just all streaming. Streaming has taken over everything, and I think it's because of that the late night show is, like, nobody's watching this late night talk shows late at night anymore. You know what I mean? It's just all the next day. So it has technically been kind of going downhill for a bit. And so I can certainly understand to a certain extent about the whole purely financial decisions, and with the late night model, it's dying or whatever. But in terms of, streaming, like streaming still makes money. You know what I mean? Like streaming is still a big, it's not going to affect them at all. You know what I mean? Like, just because you're not getting as many ratings live, that doesn't mean necessarily that the whole late night model is dead. Is it different? Yes, it is a little different, but people are still watching it, But then what this comment says about I'm not shocked to see that the format is ending. He's shocked that the final straw for the Late Show was an attempt at bending the knee to a dictator, trying to satisfy Trump in this whole debate and stuff like that, or the lawsuit that was going on. So it's become to a point now that, at one time you had late night talk show hosts that would make all kinds of jokes about politics and stuff like that. Now it's gotten to the point now where they can't really do that anymore. So I think that right there, it's just kind of shocking to see that, yeah, like, this guy's right. That was the last straw for the Late Show, being silencing someone who called out Paramount and Donald Trump for something they did. The fact that was the last straw it's a little bit of it's kind of an interesting way to look at it. Now, like I said, this is just my opinion. It's completely my opinion, but what do I see the future of late night being? I think we'll still see late night shows. I think we will. I just don't think it's going to be it. They might be more toned down in a way. Because I know a lot of people are still pissed off about Stephen Colbert. I'm still upset that Stephen Colbert is ending. And I'm not really sure in terms of, like, who's going to really keep on supporting certain late night talk shows and stuff like that after this has happened, where it's like, okay, if they can't speak their mind. Now, to a certain extent, I can understand the argument of they don't have to talk politics all the time. Like, okay, I certainly get that. And a lot of them probably shouldn't, to be honest. But the fact that, they're censored over certain things, yeah, it's a bit of a tricky situation. It really, really is. And so I'm kind of being careful with how I'm choosing my words. But really, the point that I'm getting at is, I think the late night talk show model, I do agree, has changed tremendously. Like, there's no if or ands, what's buts about it. It's changing. There's nothing that we can really do to stop that. But it's something that I think we're still going to see late night shows. Whether they'll still be relevant in 10 years, that's another discussion. But we'll see how it goes. I'm really curious to see where it all goes. But anyways, guys, be sure to let me know your thoughts. Do you think that the late night talk show model is dying? Do you think it has any chance of does it have any future, really? Does the late night talk show model have any future in today's society with streaming and all that stuff, and also with covering certain topics and all that stuff? So be sure to let me know what you think about that. And our last solo discussion topic today is going to be about Shrek. Shrek, probably, I would say this has to be on people's lists of most anticipated movies coming up. It was originally set for, I think, April or July 2026, and then it was pushed to December 2026, and it was going to be around the same day. I can't remember if it was the same day or like the same time as Avengers Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday, of course, ended up getting pushed to then. And so now we've gotten confirmation that Shrek 5 has been delayed again to 2027, June 30th, 2027. And so from what I'm hearing is that the reason is supposed to be that they don't want to compete with Doomsday and Ice Age 6. Ice Age 6 is coming out as well too, which I was like, they're making another one? Oh my god. That's just I think Ice Age, the first one was terrific. a classic, and then they all kind of just went downhill after that. I think the third one's good. I do like the third one a lot. But so of course now we have but for me, I think that was a stupid thing. There were some people saying that it's brilliant to put Avengers Doomsday in December, because like, no, to me, I'm like, you should just separate them. I just really think both films will have a better shot at making money and stuff like that. To me, I was like putting them on the same day. I'm like, no, I said just avoid it altogether. So of course, yeah, so now we're getting Shrek 5 instead of in December. We're going to be getting it in June 2027. Right, perfect. It's summertime. People will be seeing it. Kids going to the theater and stuff like that. So technically it's delayed. The original release date was July 1st, 2026. Now it's being delayed to June 30th, 2027. So that would mean it's being delayed exactly 10 years, pretty well exactly 10 years from its original release date. So, good or bad thing, I think it's a good thing. So because when you also look at, so as I mentioned, there's a couple different arguments on this. One is that they're delaying it because they're going to fix the Shrek design, similar to the Sonic the Hedgehog situation where the designs came out, people hated it, so they delayed the movie a couple months just to fix the design of Sonic. And honest to God, I think if they hadn't done that, we wouldn't be waiting for Sonic 4 right now. I really do. I really think that. So that helped that. So some people think a similar situation is happening with Shrek. Maybe, but I feel like they would have announced that. I think because also from what I'm hearing too is Eddie Murphy did an interview last month where they were talking about doing a Donkey spinoff and stuff like that. And in July this past July, according to Eddie Murphy, they're still doing some voice recording for Shrek 5. So, the fact that they're still doing voice work for it means like, okay, and obviously this is animation. It takes a long time to do animation. So, even though they have been working on this film for probably 4 years or something like that at this point, it's been in development for a long time. And so my opinion on why it's being delayed, because it's been said that it's to avoid competition with Doomsday and Ice Age 6, which, I mean, that to me, that makes the most sense to me. I don't really see them changing the Shrek design now. Maybe they will. Do I want them to change the design? I wouldn't mind it. It certainly wouldn't hurt the movie. Because, I mean, do I like the design? I don't really like the design, but to me, I was like, it's done, Like, whether it hurts the box office or whatever, I still think Shrek 5 is a guaranteed $1 billion film. Like, I said that from day one. I'll say it again. Guaranteed it's going to hit $1 billion. Mark my words. And I even did analysis videos or topics on the show where I gave my reasoning for why I think it's going to make $1 billion. It's still going to make $1 billion. And so Will having that new Shrek design that doesn't look great. It doesn't really look like Shrek. It almost looks like AI a little bit. Like someone just put a picture of Shrek up and just said, make this design more modern or whatever. So maybe that's why they're doing it. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like, I wouldn't say, oh, come on, that's why you're delaying it. I'd be like, okay, fine. But also I think it's just, it's the smart thing to do, especially when you don't want to compete with Doomsday. That's a big thing. You really don't want to compete with Avengers Doomsday, because both movies are going to be $1 billion films. I think Doomsday has potential to be maybe. It's hard to say if it'll get close to Endgame. Maybe it'll pass Infinity War. I don't know. It really just depends on how the promotional stuff goes and trailers and what we see and all that. But I think Doomsday is definitely a $1 billion film, if not $2 billion film. I don't see Shrek 5 being a $2 billion film. I just don't think it has it's definitely got it in it to make $1 billion, but anything past that, no, I just think it's too much. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Hell, I said Lilo and Stitch. I didn't think Lilo and Stitch was going to make $1 billion. I said it was possible, but I didn't think so, and it just made $1 billion. So I was wrong there. So we'll see if Doomsday and Shrek are any different. But I think now that you have them on two separate dates, it's only going to be better for both films. And I'm actually very glad that they did push one of them. I said one of them's going to have to go. I said straight up, one of them's going to have to go. Ice Age 6 can stay because I don't think many people are going to see Ice Age 6. Just my opinion. I could be wrong about that, but at least I'm not. I have no interest in seeing another Ice Age movie. Pretty well after the first one. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm really, really curious. Are they going to change the Shrek design? As I said, I'm not opposed to it, but I don't think that's why they're pushing the film. I think it's just to avoid competition, like we said. And plus, summertime, that'd be a perfect. I don't really think there's anything coming out in summer 2027 right now anyway. Let me just look at the 2027 in film and just see what's in the lineup. Because, so 2027 in film. Is there even a thing for that on Wikipedia? That's what I look at. 2025 in film. No, 2026. No, there's not even a page for 2027 yet. So I think right now that's the perfect time to just, I think that's perfect. I really do think it's perfect. There's not much lined up from what I can see, and Shrek 5 is a guaranteed bona fide success, and it's the smart thing to do. I really, really do. So I'm glad that they're doing that. But anyways, that's just my personal opinion. Definitely be sure to let me know what you guys think. Is it a good thing? Why are they postponing it? Is it because of to change Shrek's design, avoid competition with Doomsday? I'll put up a poll on Spotify. You guys can let me know what you think about that. So that's gonna do it for the show today, guys. I want to thank my guest Jaze Bordeaux for coming on. Thank you guys for listening to the show. As always, if you liked the episode, leave us a nice review, rating, all that stuff. And so thank you guys very much. Enjoy the rest of your summer. I think I'm back Thursday. Yeah, I'm back Thursday. I had to think now. I'm like, when am I back again? So that's why I just say I'll see you in the next episode. So thank you guys. We'll see you in the next episode. But until then, this is Franky signing off. Cheers, everybody.